Today is the 13th of November 2014, and I'm going to go in that door, and there is an office in there, and I'm going to claim a shipment that came to me. It's a wooden crate, and it is being loaded on the old Toyota pickup truck. Thank you much, I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and shove that thing forward, tie it up, and then we're heading to the house. Well, greetings once again from the corner on the deck. It is a new year. It is 2015, and I want to wish everyone a very happy and prosperous new year. You can do it, okay? Make a New Year's resolution like, let's get out of debt this year, you know? Wifey and I got out of debt many, many moons ago, and we can do whatever we want now. It's amazing, you know, we have no bank loans, no credit cards, any of that jazz, you know? We need money, we just go to the bank and spend it from there, you know, that sort of thing. We do have a debit card, you know, it'll be debit. You gotta be careful though, you know, just buy what you need when you need it, and you don't even feel the money gone, okay? Trust me on that. Get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. You will be a new person. Anyway, it is a new year, and we want to start a new project, or at least I do. I hope you all are going to enjoy this one. I think you will. I don't think the series is going to be as long as I had initially thought. Maybe only 7 or 8 videos, maybe 10 at the most, and that would really be stretching it, depending on, you know, the questions I get. But I want to read something to you that I got on the internet. I found on the internet as part of the research for this upcoming series we're getting ready to start. And it says, it was posted by some fellow. It says, in the mid-1950s, my dad brought home our very first television set. It was a Sylvania with one of those state-of-the-art halo lights around the screen. My dad had made a serious study of television sets before he finally broke down and purchased one. And his study convinced him that without the halo light, our family would go blind watching television. He'd heard a story somewhere, very likely from a Sylvania dealer, about a family in Wisconsin whose children had spent an inordinate amount of time watching some second-rate, small-screen, non-halo light television. And after a year of this kind of abuse, we're all as blind as moles. The guy writes, so Dad bought a huge 19-inch screen Sylvania with a halo light so bright that you just had to smile with satisfaction when it flickered to life, when your reception wasn't so good even. So, well, and then he asks at the bottom, you know, he said, has anybody ever heard of this story? Well, yes, I have. Yes, I have. I heard it many times when I was a kid. Keep in mind, I grew up when television was first really coming into existence, okay? I saw all kinds of different televisions, and I heard all kinds of stories. In fact, my grandmother owned a Sylvania halo light television. And I used to go to her house in the middle 1960s, and we would watch Bonanza. That was her favorite TV show. She almost never watched television, but she did like Bonanza, which was, those of you who never heard of Bonanza, it was a Western show. And look it up on the internet. Go to YouTube. Just look up YouTube or Bonanza on YouTube, okay? And it started out black and white, and later on, Bonanza show became color. It was a big hit among American families, okay? Kind of very family-oriented Western show. Really, really good. Anyway, as I said, I remember watching Bonanza on the TV with my grandma. And once I got into the electronic side of the house, and I got together with Brendan, I decided, you know, maybe it's time to try to find one of those halo light TVs, which would kind of, you know, bring back my youth, you know, trying to recapture our youth, you know how that goes, all us old types. And man, I'd like to be able to fix one and bring it back to life and make it work so it could pass on to future generations. Of course, the question was, where do I get one in a decent condition? Well, I hunted and hunted and hunted and hunted, and the search went on for a long time. I found one in Texas, down San Antonio, and I asked the lady that was offered it on Craigslist. I said, can you take it to the UPS place and have them wrap it for you and ship it, and I'll pay the shipping costs, the wrapping costs, and I'll give you the money you want for the TV. She said, yeah, sure, I can do that, you know. Never heard from her again. Never heard from her again. I was really disappointed with that one. I called her on the phone. Never heard from her again. Why do people put stuff on Craigslist and then that's it, you know, you never hear from them again. Anyway, so the search continued. And I was talking, by this time I'm talking to Brendan, you know, I'm like, you know, there's no Halolight TVs down this area, not the kind I want. I can't find any. And he said, well, you know, that there's quite a few around this area. Maybe one will pop up. About a year went by. And he finally contacted me and he said, John, I think I found what you need. Some guy he had contacted, I think he had initially found the guy on the Antique Radio Forum. The guy was asking questions about this Halolight TV he had. Anyway, Brendan contacted me. He said, you know, this guy's got this TV and it's only 30 miles from where I live. I'll be happy to go there and get it, and I'll let you know. How much do you want to spend on this? I said, well, you know, whatever. You know, I can't find one I want, and make sure that the Halolight works. And, you know, he's an old TV man. I didn't have to give him instructions on what to do. He knew what to do. The only thing I was concerned about was that Halolight. You know, everything else he could look at and determine whether or not it was good to go. So he did. He contacted me. He said, I bought the thing. And he said, I'll go ahead and pack it up and ship it, and we'll get it down to you. Well, several months went by, you know, about 7, 8 months went by. I told him, don't hurry, don't worry. I don't want you to, you know, overly stress yourself. You know, Brendan's he's not a 25-year-old guy. He's like me, you know, he's up in age, and, you know, he just take his time, do it as he sees fit, you know. And eventually he got it all packed up, crated up, and you saw the crate. And my boss at work helped me get that thing shipped down here to the place where I work. I called I got a hold of our general manager and I said, you know, can you help me, you know, get this thing shipped? He said, sure, we have trucks all over. Yeah, no problem. And he took care of me. And it cost me, I think it was, instead of costing like $300 or more to get that TV shipped down here, it only cost me like $115, okay? Or a little less than $115, which was a very good deal offered, you know, to the employees where I work, and, you know, I don't take advantage of that. It was Brendan's idea. He said, why don't you go check with the guys you work with? Maybe they can arrange to, you know, we're a big outfit, you know, maybe you can arrange to get it shipped. I said, oh, that's great. You know, why didn't I think of it myself? You know, it all worked out. It all came out in the wash. You saw the warehouse where it came in. You saw it being loaded on the truck. And it is now in my living room. And yes, we are going to restore a 1956 Sylvania Halolight 21-inch television. And that's my story for today, and I'm sticking to it. So let's get the video going from here.
Well, if you'd like to give your eyes a real treat, take a look at Sylvania's newest television first, Halolight. Now here's the greatest television development since the big screen picture tube. Halolight. It's a soft frame of light around the screen to reduce that sharp contrast between the brilliant picture and the darker outside surroundings. And you'll notice too that Halolight makes the picture look larger and more lifelike. You look for Halolight on Sylvania's new Golden Jubilee models, the finest television sets ever built at any price. So visit your Sylvania dealer and see those movie-clear pictures that are held rock steady by exclusive triple lock, and hear that studio-clear sound on a wide range of table and console and combination models, each of which is individually styled. And then you'll know that for the most in television enjoyment and television value, it's always Sylvania.
And remember, only Sylvania has Halolight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to crack the crate. And I've got my trusty subordinate here, Ethan. He's going to help me out. We're going to crack the crate, and we're all going to find out what's inside of it. Well, we're making some headway. We got a lot of the lumber off, and we got the entire lid off. We're getting ready to remove the lid. The old buddy Ethan, he's been working hard, haven't you? Well, that's what we've got so far. I'll tell you what, the fella that put this thing together did an excellent job. This is what you call professional packing for long distance shipping. Outstanding job so far. I'll tell you, I'm very impressed. So far, no problems. Everything came right off. This thing slipped right off over the top once we removed the styrofoam spacers and corner protectors. And here it is, folks. 21-inch Sylvania Halolight. I believe the model is the Lombard. And the original Lombard advertisement said this thing had 2 speakers, but this one only has 1 speaker. It's from, we believe it's from 1956. It looks identical to the one of 1956, the Lombard. Small difference between the two. Anyway, up here is a package of knobs that I got for it from Mike Koste at Gobs of Knobs. I contacted him and I said, would you there was only missing 1 knob. And I said, would you happen to have that knob? And he says, yeah, I think I do. He said, let me check and I'll get back with you in a day or two. And he did. Sure enough, he had the knob. He sold them to me at an extremely reasonable cost. So what I need you to do is support Mike. If you need a knob, go to Gobs of Knobs and ask him what you need. Now, you know, I sent him a little video. I uploaded a video to YouTube, showed him what I needed. I put a ruler there. I showed him the diameter and the front. Then I flipped it over on the back. And I showed him the size of the hole that the shaft goes in. Everything about the knob. So he has like millions of knobs. It's not like he can say, oh yeah, I know that one. There's probably a lot of them he hasn't even looked at for quite a while, but he only deals in, the common types. So if you have an oddball knob, make sure you give him all the information he needs. And, this is a 1956 Sylvania Halolight TV knob. I mean, it was like, I think I got what I'll have to look, And he did, and he found it, and he gave me 2 of them, actually. And sent them to me at a very good price. So support Mike Koste, Gobs and Knobs, every chance you get. His prices are good. He's a very speedy delivery feller, and he's very reliable, which is what I really like. All right, getting back to the old TV. What we're going to do right now, let's kind of go over it and do a little look-see what we've got. The finish on the top is exactly what I would expect it to be from 1956. There's been things set on it. You'll notice that the center right here is nice and kind of no blemishes, no marks at all. And the reason is that people put doilies and things there, and all the marks and everything were around it. and that was typical from that era. That's the era I grew up in. Everybody had a lamp or a doily with a lamp on it, or just a figurine or something sitting there on a doily. That's why it's so really nice there. And this is real wood with a finish on it. But out here along the edges, kind of rough. But I'm not going to refinish this. I am not going to refinish this. I'm just going to take that Howard's. I'm going to clean it and use the Howard's Restore finish on it. That's all it's going to need. No need to be sanding it down and grinding the wood and all that crap. Forget that. Anyway, like I said, it's a 21-inch. It's a great little TV. Let me see if I can get it to focus here a little bit. The light's not very good in here today, and this camera doesn't work too good on low light. What I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and spin it around and take a look at the back of it for you. Incidentally, that halo light you see is right there. That's where the fluorescent light is. It's behind that light diffuser all the way around. And eventually we'll get that thing checked out to see if it's going to light. If not, it's going to be a big disappointment. I may have to come up with a setup of LED lights or something. So let's go ahead and spin it around and see what it looks like from the back. The old back is in pretty good shape also. The neck of the tube, now these are metal, these are little metal strips that have been bent, and to hold the cardboard together, that'll have to be re-glued and re-bent. This one here is sticking up, it'll have to be bent back down, but I'll get that thing back in shape, make it look real good. And other than that, the back looks really good. Looks really good. There's nothing torn, nothing broken. Just a little bit of age had its effect on this here. And it may have been bumped against the wall once or twice or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what we've got in the... there's the model number, which I was unable to find anywhere, to 676M. So we're having to go by the chassis number on this thing. It doesn't say where it was sold or anything. Well, it looks like the last couple things we have to do is get this screw out. There's one missing right here. Get this screw out, and that takes the antenna wire for UHF and VHF and disconnects it from the cabinet. And then up there, let me see if I can get a better view. It looks like we've got a couple of screws on the left. A couple of nuts is what they are. We got one on the left and we got one on the right on that bracket up there. That bracket apparently is fastened to these straps that go around this picture tube housing. And I just hope, if I take that bracket loose, I don't see any other way that that thing is connected. And I don't want to take that center nut out, that center bolt out right there, and that little square thing on the side there. See it in the middle? Right in the middle. Well, let's go ahead and take the two nuts off the bracket left and right and see what happens, if the chassis will be loose, and get this baby out of here. This little connector on the end of the neck of the tube is on there pretty tight. So as usual, what I do, I'm getting ready to eat breakfast, so while I'm eating breakfast, I'll just go ahead and give this thing a squirt of some WD-40. Just let it soak around in there. That's all it takes. Any WD-40 can easily be washed out later. So by the time I get done eating, this should slip right off, I hope. Well, as expected, it came right off after a few minutes of soaking. I just went ahead and sprayed it all down with this CRC QD contact cleaner. I got it all nice and clean. I also sprayed the connector that goes on the back of the neck. Got that nice and clean. Looks real good. Then when I got that done, I sprayed it with a can of air. We got all that old, all the old dust out and the WD-40 that was still in there. Cleaned it all out, both there and there. Well, it only took 4 screws from underneath. They have these like funny looking, let me see here, they have these funny looking washers, star kind of washers that hold them in place. And now let's see, hope this isn't too blurry for you folks, but let's see if I can't get that speaker. It looks to me like that speaker, those speaker wires will unplug. Let me get a light on there. Get over here. Yeah, it looks like those speaker wires might just unplug out of there. Let's find out. Yep, they did. Fantastico. Look at that. Ooh, that makes life a whole lot easier. Okay, we got a couple more things to unhook here. I have the CRT and the chassis out of the cabinet now, and I'll tell you what, that was no easy task. The CRT kept hitting the high voltage cage, and it kept hitting this tall filter can on the chassis. And I got the CRT loose, but every time I tried to pull it back, this is actually the front of the chassis, every time I tried to pull it back, it would hit. So I managed to get this. I realized that this was hinged. So I hinged it all the way up and out of the way, but still it kept hitting on this filter capacitor. And I just kept thinking and thinking, and finally it dawned on me. I'll show you what I had to do to get everything out. In order to get the CRT out of this thing, the 21-inch picture tube, it had to go out through the front of the cabinet. It could not come out the back, unless I took a saw and cut off that, that tall filter can, and I wasn't about to do that. But I removed this. This thing was held in with just 4 corner bolts with nuts on them that went all the way through the wood. Piece of cake. Once I got it out, the whole thing just slipped right out. And the picture tube, by the way, is held in by this strap setup. I'll show you that later on, how it went. And I also discovered that indeed this TV does have 2 speakers. There's the second one right there. It was hidden from me. I couldn't even see it. And of course this little transformer, this little power transformer here, we're going to show you what that's all about. And it looks almost brand new. That's really good stuff there. I'll show you what that baby's for. Well, that's it. If you're interested in following along on the rebuild of a 1956 Sylvania Halolight 21-inch television, then I invite you along for the ride. As far as I know, and as far as Brendan knows, there has not been a Halolight restoration done on YouTube at all. Matter of fact, we couldn't find a restoration done anywhere. Seems to me that a while back there was someone who did a little bit, but they didn't go into the step-by-step process. So if you're up to it, I'll be glad to have you along. Until next time, thanks for being here. This is John.